What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to do a quick video on how to change your oil. I'll show you how to change the oil on my 2008 Chevy Colorado. First thing I like to do is pop the hood. I already got it popped, and then just open it. I know how to. And then I always like to take off the oil fill cap, which is right here. A good technique I use so I don't forget to put the oil cap on is I'll put it right here on the hood latch. That way you can't close the hood without breaking the oil cap. It's a lot cheaper to replace an oil cap than it is your engine because you lost all your oil because you forgot to put your oil cap on. Alright, here's everything I need to change my oil on my truck. I got a ratchet with a 13mm socket, and I got my oil filter. It's a genuine GM oil filter. AC Delco is owned by GM, so it's the exact OEM oil filter. And I got 6 quarts of Valvoline conventional 5W30. Good tip is to make sure you know the type of oil and the capacity that you need when changing your oil, so you don't have to run to the parts store. And I have a oil drain pan right here. So let's crawl under the car and get going. Alright guys, so I am under the front of the vehicle. On the driver's side of the vehicle is the oil drain plug. It's a 13mm. I'll go ahead and loosen that up on my socket. Make sure you have your drain pan in place. And it shouldn't be that tight. So you just go ahead and loosen it, and then you take it out the rest of the way by hand. I'm going to put the camera down now so I don't get the camera all oily. And so it looks like we got most of the oil out of the engine. So I got my drain plug here. Just want to screw it in by hand. I like to screw it in by hand all the way. I'll go ahead and move our oil jug out of the way. Grab my ratchet. Like I said, I don't like to tighten them too tight. Just want to snug it down. Right about there is all you want to do. Wipe off any excess oil you have. Good thing to have is some shop rags with you when you change your oil. Can get pretty messy. Now I'm going to move my drain pan over to where my oil filter's at. The oil filter on this Chevy Colorado is right up above. Get some light. So there's this cross member right here, and it should be right up there. You see that blue thing there? That is hard to see. That's the oil filter right there. So all oil filters, in my opinion, should not be on more than hand tight, because you don't want to have to try to get a tool up in there. So once you get it loose a little bit, you want to spin it and move your hand out so you can get some of the oil coming out. Try to let as much of that oil drain as you can. You get a drop light so I can shine it up in there for you guys. So once I got as much oil draining off there as I can, go ahead and spin the rest of it off. You want to make sure you hold on to the oil filter as you spin. That way you don't drop it, because if you drop it, it can make for a really bad day. So when you get a new oil filter out of the package, you want to check the gasket, make sure there's no tears in it, make sure there's no burrs on the threads here. I actually haven't run into a tear in a gasket myself. That's one reason I prefer to use OEM parts for oil filters, because you know they're going to be really good quality. So make sure there's no damage to it. So a lot of people will fill the oil filter up with new oil. It's not necessary. You don't necessarily have to do that. And a good thing to do is check your old oil filter. Part number is PF61E. Make sure there's a gasket on it. Sometimes the gasket will get left on the engine, and when you go to screw the new one on, you'll think it's tight, and when you go to start it, you'll dump all your oil on the ground. So, and then this one you can see is a PF61E, so it's the same exact oil filter. What I like to do is get a little bit of oil. You can use the new oil or the used oil. I'm just doing the new oil right now because it's handy. Get a little bit on your finger, and you want to lube up that new gasket just so it slides on good and it doesn't sometimes if you don't lube it, then that seal will stick on the engine. I'm going to try to snake the new oil filter. So when you're screwing this on, you want to make sure you do not cross thread it, because if you cross thread it, you can damage the filter or damage the oil pickup that's on the engine. So you want to just tighten it by hand. Don't want to crank it down like as tight as you can get it, but you still want it pretty tight. So I think that's gonna probably do. And we got our new oil filter installed. Double check and make sure you have your drain plug in before you start filling the oil. So drain plug's in, oil filter is on. So all we need to do is fill it with oil. I'm gonna go ahead and put some oil in the engine. Another tip, if you don't know how much oil the engine takes, always start with 4 quarts. There's not many cars out there that take less than 4 quarts. So start with 4 quarts and then check the dipstick and see what it reads. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump some oil in here. You should probably use a funnel, but I'm going to try to press my luck and see how well I can do without a funnel. Alright, 1 quart down. So we're going to check the oil one more time. So it shows just under full, which means it's not full all the way because the engine still does have to put oil into the oil filter. Most oil filters hold about half a quart. So I'm gonna get all these bottles out of here, start it up. Alright, before you start the engine, you always want to make sure your oil filter is tight, oil cap is tight, and your oil dipstick is in. And you don't want loose stuff laying around the engine bay. I'll go ahead and start it. Alright, always make sure you have your keys with you when you're changing your oil. Alright. Go ahead and start it. So I build fuel pressure a little bit, and then go ahead and start it up. You want to make sure you watch that little oil light right there. If it does not go off, you did something very wrong. That's your oil pressure light. And then it says change oil. I'll show you how to check that too. So what you do on most Chevys to reset your oil light is all you have to do is pump the gas pedal after you turn the ignition on. So you turn the ignition on and you pump the gas pedal 3 times. You hear it beeping? So that should have reset the oil light. I'll go ahead and start it back up. See what it says. It says door, because my door's open. Go and shut my door. No oil light. Alright, before you start the engine, you always want to make sure your oil filter is tight, oil cap is tight, and your oil dipstick is in. And you don't want loose stuff laying around the engine bay. I'll go ahead and start it. Alright, always make sure you have your keys with you when you're changing your oil. Alright, go ahead and start it. So let it build fuel pressure a little bit, and then go ahead and start it up. You want to make sure you watch that little oil light right there. If it does not go off, you did something very wrong. That's your oil pressure light. And then it says change oil. I'll show you how to check that too. So what you do on most Chevys to reset your oil light is all you have to do is pump the gas pedal after you turn the ignition on. So you turn the ignition on and you pump the gas pedal 3 times. You hear it beeping? So that should have reset the oil light. I'll go ahead and start it back up. See what it says. It says door, because my door's open. Go and shut my door. No oil light. Alright, so now that I've started the engine, made sure I had oil pressure and there's no leaks. Always check for leaks. Pull the dipstick and check the oil again. Don't know if you can see it, but my oil level is right about here. It's just below the low level. You want it between the low and full. So between the low and full is about 1 quart. Anywhere between there is the operating range. When you change it, you want it about right about the full level. So I'm going to probably put another 1/2 quart in it and check it again. This engine should take about 5.5 quarts, maybe a little bit more. Make sure you take your oil fill cap off, and again, I always put it on my hood latch. Let's see if I can do this without a funnel. Oh, I spilled a little bit there at the end. My daughter's yelling at me in the background saying it's dinner time. Of course I made a mess. And again, we'll check our oil. So it's still just right there above the low. So I'm just going to probably put the rest of that quart in there and it should be good. See how good I am at no funnel pours. I know it seems like I might be checking my oil a lot, but I really want to make sure it's got the right level in it. Just take your time with this part, because this is definitely not the part you want to mess up. And you can see my oil level is right there, just below the full level. I'm going to call that good. I hope you enjoyed watching how to change your oil on your 2008 Chevy Colorado. Sorry I haven't been posting many videos lately. I've had a lot of stuff coming up, and to be honest with you, I've been too lazy to make videos and edit them. but I am going to probably try to put out some more videos. I'm going to stick with how-to. I've got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of stuff that I've been thinking of doing how-to videos. So if you like this, make sure you comment, subscribe, share. If there's anything I could do or anything you like or anything you want to see, just comment below, and I will catch you on the flip side.